Okay then guys, what is going on? Cloud Plays here and welcome back to another video here on the channel. Today this is a little bit of an odd one, but we're going to be talking about Outriders and why it is that I have stopped covering it. We've had quite a lot of DMs in Discord, Twitter, on YouTube comments with regards to that Outriders content and why it is that it's not happening anymore. Well, today we're going to go into detail with what's going on with Outriders, the future of it, and if there even is one. If you haven't already, make sure you smash that beautiful blue thumbs up and subscribe, post notifications turned on. It'd be greatly appreciated. With that being said, let's dive into the actual details. So with the release of the new Worldslayer DLC for Outriders, it looked extremely hopeful. With the game going in the right direction, we soon found out that actually very quickly, the game became very stale very fast. With there only being so many limited endgame activities that you could actually enter into, it seemed to be almost like a looping cycle of absolutely nothingness. So we were doing the endgame activity to generate new builds and to make higher powered DPS builds and utilize a lot more things to be able to make those characters more well known. We then very quickly came to the consumption that even once you've made those builds, there is nothing to utilize them on because you've already been running the end game content to get to that stage. Essentially the way that the game operates is it works on a general motive of being able to play the end game to get as much of the loot as you possibly can, and once you've collected all of it, you just wait for the next installment. Now as of right now, we seem to be sat at a bit of a stagnant point where PCF Square Enix have actually kind of gone along this motive and this running through of we are just not going to do anything with the game at all, we're not going to say anything about the game whatsoever, and we're just going to pop up a little bit here and there every couple of months or so. We already know based on the first year of Outriders that that narrative just doesn't seem to work, and although the game is a one and done, we do find that actually the game doesn't really work in that way. It is one of those grinders games that should be in a live service model. Now unfortunately with it not being in a live service model, it doesn't leave much room for growth or much breathing room for content creators or even the consumers as players. What this means is everything is quite limited. Yes, we do have the Tarja Gratar activity, and yes, we do have the expeditions activity, but the only issue with that is that throughout the whole of year one, all we had was expeditions. So although they've brought that all up to level and the loot that you get from that now is actually relevant, is still irrelevant. We are stacked in a stagnant position where expeditions is all we've been doing for the last year. We've had no new expeditions with the new content, and we've now got Tarja Gratar, which we have now rinsed to death throughout so far, quote unquote, year 2 of the game. For me, the problems stem quite easily, and although we can sit here and generate builds for all 4 characters every single day if we wanted to, it doesn't really stand to the content that I enjoy making. Although at the moment, the channel has kind of lost its identity with where it's going. I am on holiday over the next week or so. We happen to be in Spain, in Casablanca, but once we do return, we are going to be getting the channel back on track. We've got a lot of plans for the Discord, and we are going to be narrowing down the content that we're covering here on the Cloud Players channel so that it actually makes sense again, as I feel like it is a little bit sporadic and we've kind of lost our identity. But the Outriders content is just something that we just can't even entertain here on the channel, mainly because, well, there's actually nothing bloody there. Even the tiny little patch updates and the overall communication updates that we do get from time to time are borderline irrelevant, and being a part of the Outriders Ambassadors program will actually lead to be quite freaking pointless as well. Although the narrative will be pushed across to you guys, to the general public, that actually the Outriders Ambassadors team is something to be proud of and something to be utilized in a high-end manner, it doesn't work that way at all. We are about as ignored as the rest of you guys. I can literally go on to the main Discord now for the Outriders Ambassadors chat and see an absolute swift F-all in there for God knows how many weeks now. Like, it's just pointless. There is absolutely no need to be there. The deafening silence is just absolutely ridiculous, and I'm seeing content creators up and down just saying, well, where do we go from here? Well, it's actually quite simple. We just steer away into other directions until maybe Outriders comes back and gives it a third time lucky attempt. I do feel like there is a bit of a sorry narrative for that basis, and as far as the Outriders Ambassadors go, we put everything that we've got, all of our heart and soul, into the Outriders content as and when it comes out, and we give our honest opinions, or at least most of us do, and we push as much content as we possibly can. Our reward for that is actually just to be completely ignored and a deafening silence, which just kind of isn't even pre-warned or pre-iterated and just dropped upon us like a fucking hammer. I'm extremely disappointed in the way that this has kind of gone, and really had high hopes after World Slayer's launch went so bloody well, and we had such a high expectation for this just because they had so much to prove, and all they've actually proven to us is well, actually you were right the whole freaking time through, and the last year has been the exact same narrative movement as we've had for or since launch. I just wanted to really address this whole motive of where it is that the Outriders content is going, and do I think that Outriders is ever going to be the next big looter shooter? Not on this earth. And I don't think no matter what they do, that's ever going to change. I don't think that there's ever anything that they can do to be able to give us that sort of generic feel of a very good game that's finally got it right. I think our next hope on that may be the First Descendant, and if you haven't seen any content with that, well, the link is down in the description, or you'll find an annotation in the top right corner now. It's just where it's gone, and that just happens to be where it is that the content seems to be moving through. It's extremely disappointing, as Outriders was one of those games that we all said had such high expectations and it had such a high potential for it. It just didn't ever seem to go anywhere. But this was just a quick video just to give you guys a bit of an address on the motive with Outriders, why you're not seeing it, and how I actually feel about the game right now. And that is, I've been uninstalled it already. Hopefully that gives you guys a little bit more of a push on where it is that we're going with the channel, and we are going to be narrowing down the channel to a selective few games, and any new games that we see that may be worth looking at we are going to narrow into, but we are going to be honing in on just a few games for the channel as of right now. Hopefully you guys do want to come back, and hopefully we'll see you guys at the end of the week where I will be coming back from my holiday from Spain, and we can really hone in on where it is that we're going. If you guys want to see any of my socials, we are live on Instagram, Twitter, we are also on TikTok, and I'm going to be slamming a load of content from Spain for you guys over there. Then hopefully you guys will enjoy it as much as I will posting it up. Thanks again for watching, guys. Appreciate your faces, and as always, I'll see you in the clouds.